success. Another athlete that adopted an almost identical mindset to Jordan was Tom Brady. Throughout Brady's collegiate career, he never grabbed the national attention many of the other quarterbacks did in that 2000 NFL draft. His accomplishments only earned him enough to be selected as 199th pick. Many scouts believe that Brady did not possess the talent and required to be successful at the NFL level. What they did not recognize was how committed Brady was to becoming one of the best athletes to ever grace the field. As a rookie, Brady struggled with various confidence issues. This is a normal but often overlooked challenge that many great athletes faced on their rise to stardom. As he matured, he began to understand the importance of embracing his fears. And eventually, as he began to experience all different types of adversity, he was able to develop his resilience. Now, as the reigning Super Bowl champion, Brady's greatness is undisputed. Achieving this mindset is not a simple flick of a switch. It requires two things: understanding why you fear failure and establishing strategies to overcome this fear. So why do we fear failure? Through my research, I identified that the stress induced by failure is frequently attributed to the pressure to succeed from external influences and our fear of judgment from others. As students with parents who have sacrificed a lot for us to have a good life, it may be important for us to achieve an image of perfection that impresses our family and friends. According to the author of The Gift of Failure, Jessica Leahy suggests that many young learners have sacrificed their natural curiosity and have put all their time and effort into collecting as many accolades and achievements as possible. Not only does this negatively affect our ability to pursue opportunities that actually interest us, but it also negatively affects our mental health. The American Psychological Association also has reported these unprecedented levels of stress. Even during the summer, teens reported their stress during the past month at levels higher than what they believe is healthy. Many teens also report feeling overwhelmed and depressed or sad as a result of stress. More than 1/3 of teens report fatigue or even feeling tired, and nearly 1/4 of teens report skipping a meal due to stress. Ultimately, this prevents us from truly stepping out of our comfort zone for fear of negatively affecting our image. In addition to this, our fear of failure is compounded by our fear of shame. We often refrain from placing ourselves in situations where our insecurities are exposed. According to Dr. Guy Winch, we avoid situations like this because it is an experience that could prove our incompetence to people whose opinions we value. While this emotional strain is then manifested by ineffective methods that are only temporarily stress relieving or provide us with an excuse for our failures, these examples include procrastination or a lack of effort. While this does decrease our fear of failure, it also decreases our chance of succeeding. Allowing the judgment and expectations from others to dictate our lives prevents us from being our true selves. When we allow failures to define us, it leads to a sense of permanency that inhibits us from fully growing and developing to our potential. There are many ways for us to overcome our fear of failure. However, I found that the most effective methods included increasing our confidence and self-compassion, establishing a sense of personal balance, visualizing possible challenges, and redefining what failure really is. In order to confront our fears, it is important to have a sense of security within ourselves. To improve confidence, we must reflect on our past and remember that we have experienced and overcome failure before. Recalling the last time our hard work resulted in success will allow us to restore a sense of assurance in our abilities. However, the most effective method to restore or even improve confidence in ourselves is to put forth more effort towards preparation. While improving the trust in our ability, it also tends to lead to higher quality results. Another vital component for overcoming our fear of failure that goes along with confidence is self-compassion. Understanding our value and our worth allows us to recover from any setback. A study led by Dr. Kristen Neff, a professor of educational psychology, concludes that those who express self-compassion and express a better understanding of their personal struggles are more likely to be mastery-based learners. This is defined as a person who has a desire for learning and improving their abilities. The research also shows a negative relationship between self-compassion and a fear of failure, which means that as compassion increases, our fear and anxiety decrease. This is because a self-compassionate individual is more accepting towards themselves and their struggles, allowing them to freely fail without worrying too much about consequences. Once we feel we have reached a level of confidence and self-compassion, we are that much closer to accomplishing a sense of balance. Attempting to juggle everything at once is a formidable challenge for anyone. From work to relationships to well-being, it is difficult to keep track of everything. However, this balance is crucial for overcoming a fear of failure. If we still struggle to maintain healthy levels of stress, encountering yet another challenge will only lead to further tension and other negative consequences. To restore personal balance, we must increase our levels of optimism to reach a level where we feel capable of moving past failure. Scott Adams, the author of How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, argues that prioritizing personal well-being over others will improve personal health while simultaneously lifting those around the individual. He views this perceived self-absorption in a different light. The most important form of selfishness involves spending your time on fitness, eating right, pursuing your career, and still spending quality time with your family and friends. It is difficult to view this type of selfishness in a way that allows people to improve their physical and mental health while simultaneously supporting those around them. However, this definition of self-centered is what many recognize as unselfishness. Altering our understanding of this will help us focus on our pursuits without worrying about being too inconsiderate. The positivity that results from concentrating on well-being will increase our motivation and, in turn, increase our desire to overcome any challenge. Another important component of balance is achieved through cautious optimism. A positive outlook towards any adverse circumstances will keep us grounded while allowing us to remain confident. This prevents us from expecting any improbable outcomes to be in our favor. After we achieve a sense of balance, we move to the next step, which is visualizing future challenges. When we do this, we walk ourselves through every possible scenario. This will leave us feeling a little bit more prepared for whatever comes our way. Peter Bregman, the best-selling author of 18 Minutes, writes that when we visualize failure, we are envisioning our success. We're watching ourselves navigate, survive, and move through failure. And that's an art that doesn't just help us succeed, it helps us live. Failure isn't just an annoying step on the way to success, it's as much part of life as success. Best to get used to it. This method is especially effective when we are suffering from the stress that uncertainty always creates. Finally, and perhaps the most important of the four, is defining failure in our own way. For many people, anything that falls short of their ultimate goal is considered a disappointment. However, what if we were to consider real failure as something that makes pursuing our goals a success? Amy Anderson, a writer for Forbes, suggests this advice. Redefine failure as any time that you allow your fears to stop you from doing the things you truly want to do in life. Then move forward and get it done. Not only does this increase our motivation, but it also forces us to fear a different type of failure, one that prevents us from achieving success that is solely defined by us. While failure is essential to success in almost all cases, there are a few individuals who are successful because of their ability to ignore their failures. These are individuals that I have acknowledged as narcissists, individuals who are self-centered, are hollow, are unlikable, and expect to be praised unconditionally. Ken Lay, the founder and ex-CEO of Enron, is an example of a narcissist who was a successful individual that lacked a strong moral foundation. Enron was an energy trading and utility company that was once recognized as one of the largest corporations in the United States. However, in the years leading up to Enron's fraudulent accounting practices being exposed and its ultimate bankruptcy, the company's shareholders lost an estimated $74 billion. Ken Lay was liable for their ultimate failure, making him a despised figure among those negatively affected by Enron's undoing. Lay's inability to acknowledge the failures of his company, even after he was found guilty, was not only immoral, but was incredibly enraging for those who lost their livelihoods to Enron's demise. Ken Lay's refusal to take accountability for his actions and address the issues that were so rampant within his company was the ultimate destructive element. However, some lesser known but equally significant factors that contributed to Enron's downfall were embedded in their company culture. As a leader of a large corporation, Lay hired many talented individuals from some of the greatest universities in the world. However, like many business leaders at the time, Lay became so obsessed with the idea of inherited abilities. so much so that he spared every expense to acquire these naturally skilled individuals. While their talent ultimately benefited Enron as a whole, Lay's emphasis on talent forced his employees into a mindset where they did not feel the need to improve their deficiencies. These individuals were placed in an environment where they were praised for their capabilities, and they began to deny any sort of weakness to preserve their image. From Lay's adulation of talent to his narcissistic traits that included feelings of invincibility and the lack of empathy, Enron was really not built to survive. However, Ken Lay, regardless of how incredibly immoral and arrogant he was successful in some capacity. He became the CEO of Enron after the merger between Houston Natural Gas and InterNorth, which is a significant accomplishment. In addition to being a CEO, he was a philanthropist. He provided substantial sums of money to multiple Texas charities. Narcissists will be able to attain a certain level of success, but it will not ultimately be their potential. Lay's success was through a less conventional route that disregarded the importance of acknowledging failure. The path we ultimately choose to follow when we are faced with the question of fearing or embracing failure is entirely up to our discretion. However, I want you to consider this question. How do you want to be remembered? As a person who was extremely successful, but was self-centered and incredibly ignorant, or as an equally successful individual with strong morals and a humble mindset? The latter will be the lasting legacy, one that parents, coaches, mentors, teachers will use to teach their young ones how to achieve greatness. The fear associated with failure is challenging to overcome or even control. However, with the proper mindset and understanding of the true meaning of failure, we will accomplish our goals, persevere through adversity, and finally overcome our fear of failure. Thank you. That concludes my presentation.
Great, Deven. Wonderful job. That was a fantastic job. If you could kindly end the presentation so I can make sure I see everyone who's on our meet, and then we can start taking some questions. Before I actually ask the audience for questions, I actually want to ask you something. It looks like you've done a fantastic job. You looked at the success of athletes who had to overcome failure. You looked at business people, and I like your addition of, the narcissist, the kind of people who really don't overcome their failure but kind of cover it up. What do you see yourself doing with this information in the future? How do you think you're going to use this when you move on to college?
Yeah, moving forward, I'm actually really excited. At whatever institution I choose to go to, I just want to further my research. In retrospect, I think I wanted to include a lot more female leaders and entrepreneurs. So I think that's going to be my focus moving forward, and perhaps even doing more presentations like these, like maybe even a TED Talk or something like that. And then just furthering that research is something that I'm looking forward to doing in the future.
All right, great. Thank you. Let's see. Ms. Patient, you have a question.
Hi, Deven. That was really awesome. I was just wondering, in terms of your own personal failures, right? What, doing this research, how did it make you look back on your own situations? And did you include that in your final paper, and you just didn't put anything like that in this part? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, so my overall capstone on this topic was actually very personal for me. I mean, I've faced failure obviously in many different capacities, as a musician, as an athlete, as a student, even as a person, even socially. So I think that a lot of the research helped me through looking back upon different experience I had and sort of looking at what I did wrong and how to fix it moving forward. And I think this project not only helped me become a better student, but a better person. I mean, approaching different situations with the idea that I can get through it and overcome anything that comes my way, even no matter how big or small it is, I think was really helpful. And I think a lot of students, especially my age, need to hear that. And I think it's an important message.
Okay, let's move on to another question. Brooke, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, great job, Deven. Do you have any specific advice to people currently facing rejection, whether that's in the college process or other endeavors they're doing?
Yeah, so I know it was a tough admissions process for a lot of students here, but I think that going off what I said before, that this rejection should fuel our motivation and moving forward, that this is not definite, this is not permanent. There are a bunch of different experiences and a lot of things that you need to experience in order to be successful, and this is only a small part of that. And I think that not sort of taking it too seriously, like this moment in time, it's moving past it and persevering through whatever emotions you're feeling, that disappointment, the rejection, the sadness. I think just moving past that and sort of using that to fuel your motivation is important. And I think that's what the most successful individuals do.
Okay, our next question comes from Claire.
Great presentation, Deven. I really enjoyed it. My question is, what was the most influential piece of work for you during the research process?
Yeah, so for me, I think the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, I think it was a very good book for me. It spoke specifically a chapter about innate talent, and that while talent is important, it's not everything. You need opportunities. You need to have that opportunity to succeed and sort of taking advantage of everything that comes your way, whether it's a small opportunity or a big opportunity. So just taking that leap of faith and embracing everything that comes your way is important. I think that was probably the most influential work for my research, but also for myself. So.
Great. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Okay, if there are no other questions, then another round of applause for Deven. That was a fantastic job. And I would just like to remind everyone, we have 2 more Capstone presentations this week. They will occur tomorrow. Jaron is going to be going at 8:30 in the morning, and Emerald will be going at 9:10. Jaron's is on the progression of jazz, and Emerald will be on a history of the development of computers and computer science. So we'd love for you guys to join us for those presentations. And Deven, again, thank you very much for your hard work. A fantastic job, and thank everyone. I thank everyone for attending his presentation. You guys have a great day. Awesome, Deven. Very well done. You've got a really nice presence when you're speaking. Yep. I mean,
thanks.
Very well done.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Thank you for your help throughout this process. It's really been
no problem. It's been my pleasure.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.